Today we're taking a detailed look at Slovakia versus Germany. Why Germany lost and what mistakes they made. Let's go. What's striking is that, right from the start, already in the second minute, Germany decided to simply hit the ball long from their own box instead of trying to play short. That's an early warning sign. In the build-up, Germany mostly had two players in the holding zone and lined up in a 4-2-3-1. A very important piece for Germany was Joshua Kimmich, who often dropped into the back line, between the center backs, between the right back and the center back, basically anywhere he was needed in defense. Early on, Florian Wirtz would often drop into that holding area as well. It was also really odd to see Serge Gnabry, Germany's right winger, playing so deep. That was something else for me. He frequently dropped below the line of the right back, while Germany's right back Nnamdi Collins was consistently positioned higher than Gnabry. In the attacking development phase, the holding midfielder would take up the deeper position and drop into the back line, and Gnabry would step into the right back position. He did that constantly. And it wasn't a one-off. Throughout the entire first half, while Collins was on the pitch, Gnabry kept moving into that right back channel, receiving there and trying to progress play, while Collins took up an extremely high position for a right back, frequently attacking the depth and joining the front line. In possession, Germany's shape was usually a back three formed by the two center backs plus Kimmich. One holding midfielder stayed, usually Angelo Stiller. The wingers, Wirtz and Gnabry, occupied the half spaces, with Leon Goretzka playing underneath the striker. Both fullbacks held very wide and very high positions. As for Germany's finishing zones, they generally had at least three players occupying the box. When the ball went wide, Germany also overloaded the ball side, packing that zone with two or three players for quick combinations, to create superiority or to beat a man on level terms purely through technique. And there was always at least one player stationed for second balls. Germany attacked reasonably well throughout, found between the lines options and looked to sharpen play, but it didn't lead to a goal. They even launched some very direct vertical attacks at pace. Here, for example, Kimmich plays between the lines, Wirtz fires a super vertical pass into the center forward, and it ends with a shot from the left back, which also shows how high the left back was in that sequence. You can see the right back too, around the edge of the penalty area. Out of possession, Julian Nagelsmann's side pressed in a 4-2-3-1, with the center forward setting the tone and steering the press. In this episode, a Slovak defender tried to play the ball into midfield, but Stiller was already closing him down. The German holding midfielder won the ball, it bounced to Florian Wirtz, and let's analyze Wirtz's decision-making here. At that very moment, he could already have tried to play a through ball to striker Nick Woltmann. There was a clear corridor for the run, and Woltmann was onside. That would have been a 100% one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Soon after, however, a Slovak defender narrowed the passing lane, which made that ball into the striker no longer viable. But by doing so, he opened up another option, a pass into Leon Goretzka, who was positioned right on the edge of the Slovak penalty box. From there, Goretzka could have combined, for example, laying it off to Serge Gnabry, who was completely free on the right-hand side. That could also have led to a goal. Instead, Wirtz ignored both those options and decided to go it alone with confidence. Tactically, the decision was wrong, but individually he showcased his technical quality, dribbling past two defenders, breaking into a shooting position, and forcing the Slovak goalkeeper into a save. From a technical execution standpoint, it was superb. From a decision-making perspective, though, there were clearly better choices. Slovakia, meanwhile, looked very strong in transitions from defense to attack. Their forward passes in transition consistently targeted Germany's right defensive flank, where Nnamdi Collins was slow to recover, leaving a lot of space. That was the zone Slovakia exploited for their most dangerous attacks. Importantly, Germany's right defensive flank kept collapsing. Collins really defended poorly, and Slovakia exploited that side again and again. Let's break down this episode. The German right back is next to a Slovak player. Slovakia aren't advancing aggressively, they're circulating the ball, and a Slovak player moves into the space between the lines. Kimmich picks him up. That part is fine, but for some reason Collins drops quite deep toward his own goal. Now he physically can't get out to apply pressure on the Slovak player who is about to receive freely on the wing. He'll get that ball without any trouble. That's the first tactical mistake. Then Collins just goes charging at him at full speed because he realizes he should have pressed early and attacked the first touch. There's open space behind him that nobody's covering. He rushes in aggressively, and on the counter movement, the Slovak player catches him out, knocks the ball past into that free zone, simply sprints away and plays a targeted ball into the box. The shot goes wide, but the whole chance comes straight down Collins' right back channel. Now let's talk about the goals Germany conceded and who was at fault. For the first goal, Wirtz lost the ball after overplaying with just a small push in the back. Germany wasn't ready to defend, and Slovakia launched a 4 versus 4 counter. The back line consisted of 3 defenders plus Kimmich, who was acting as a right back in that moment, all sprinting toward their own goal. It's also important to note that Goretzka was closing down the ball carrier only about 4 meters away, a small distance, and in half a second he would have applied direct pressure. But Antonio Rüdiger made a poor decision. He broke out of the line aggressively to press the ball. That movement opened up space in behind, an obvious passing lane. By stepping out, Rüdiger allowed the through ball and stopped covering depth. The correct decision would have been to hold the line, since Kimmich was already applying pressure. In that case, the Slovak player would have had a much harder time threading a killer ball, but instead the pass was played, and the Slovak forward received it inside Germany's box. Now attention again on Rüdiger. After the ball was released, he was very close to the passer. The right choice here would have been to immediately sprint back toward the box to help defend the goal. The Slovak forward was about to receive in a dangerous area, and Germany needed numbers inside. But Rüdiger hesitated, looked at the ball, and switched off for a split second. In that tiny moment, he lost his man's run. The Slovak player punished him for 2 errors. First, breaking the line prematurely. Second, not reacting quickly enough to recover. That's how the first goal came. For the second goal, it started with a long ball from the Slovak goalkeeper. Germany's left back lost the aerial duel, and the ball dropped to a Slovak attacker. Again, Rüdiger's defensive flaws showed. He has problems with coordination against agile, sharp players. Here, his body positioning was poor. As soon as he lifted his right foot, the Slovak attacker cut the ball onto his left and fired into the far corner, unstoppable for the keeper. Rüdiger failed to angle his body properly, didn't direct the attacker to a less dangerous side. For me, the biggest issues in this match were, first, Germany's strange use of the right back and the technical limitations on that side, and second, Rüdiger's individual errors in both goals, some tactical, some technical, and at times mental lapses where he simply switched off. Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Does this German team have a future under Julian Nagelsmann? Which match would you like me to analyze next? And don't forget to subscribe for even more football analytics content.